Hi everybody. I'd like to show you this sitar that I just finished modifying. Uh, Someone locally here asked me to find them a sitar, a good sitar for a reasonable price. So I undertook the challenge and found this sitar locally. Now the sitar is a very, very well made sitar. It's not a name brand sitar, but it's a generic sitar, but made very, very well. Except for one issue that the sitar had was that the soundboard was a little bit too thick, and therefore the sound was a bit too kind of woody and too hard and too bright sounding. Now the pumpkin is very thin, so the pumpkin was originally very, very good, but the soundboard a little bit too thick. So what I suggested to my friend was that we get the sitar and we somehow thin down the soundboard a little bit. Now what I used to do many years ago, I did it to about 15 sitars. What I used to do was I used to cut the soundboard off, just cut all the way around and take it off and thin the soundboard down from the inside. Because typically what is a very common problem with generic sitars is they don't take enough time to thin down the soundboard. So that's usually what the problem is. So sometimes they put too much of this kind of putty on the inside of the pumpkin. That can be a problem too. Whereas this sitar doesn't seem to have any putty on the inside, so the pumpkin is very good. Now, how do you tell whether the the thickness? I mean you can just by the sound, but basically you can identify the thickness of the soundboard and the pumpkin by the resonance mode that each of those produces. The tubli, the soundboard, has a resonance mode which should be around this area, ma, tivra ma, around that area. If it's higher than that, the sitar sounds very too bright and too woody. The resonance mode on this one was around dha, so that's too high, a little bit too high. It should be down around ma, tivra ma. The pumpkin has a resonance mode which should be around sa, como re, and re. So that's why when you get the resonance mode of the pumpkin here, that kind of accentuates all of these notes. And then when you have the resonance mode of the soundboard around this area, it kind of accentuates these notes. So that way you have a balanced punchiness throughout the main playing areas of the neck. The full octave is kind of covered. So, as I said, what I normally used to do was, in this situation, which is very common, was to remove the soundboard and carve it out. From then you have to glue it back on again. And so I suggested that what I do is, you see, normally the sitar has these carvings here of the wood carvings, the kind of like furniture kind of carvings. So what I suggested is, why don't I just strip the varnish completely off the soundboard and actually flatten, like actually remove these wood carvings and just flatten it completely. Strip it down, flatten it just all the way to there, and then revarnish it. So that theoretically should thin the soundboard enough to move the resonance mode from this area down to about here. And that's what I did, and sure enough, it worked as predicted. I also had to do a number of other things to the sitar, which is again is typical whenever you get a generic sitar. That the pegs all needed some work, but also these two chicory posts. You take them out, you fill up the holes, and then you re-drill the holes at a slight angle, so it's kind of back, slight angle. And so that way the chicory posts are angled back both. So I did that. You always have to do that. And the other thing is with the bridge, you usually have to raise the bridge a little bit, like 2 or 3 millimeters, raise the bridge and angle it slightly back that way. So the result of that is that, because they always come with the bridge completely flat, and the buzz is way too much buzz, way too much jowry buzz. So we got rid of that, and by just angling it back, put a new jowry on and raised the bridge. Because with the bridge is too low, when you really play it hard, it flacks, it kind of hits against, the action is too low and it kind of hits against the frets. So that's not good. So the result of that is I redid the jowry and bent it back, angled it back. So the jowry now is very, very closed. And I have only played on this for about half an hour since I did it. So the jowry is going to open up. See, that's the one principle about jowry, is jowry always opens up. Okay, it means more and more buzz with time. It never goes in the opposite direction. So it's a bit of a dilemma for a sitar maker, because the sitar maker wants the sitar should be sounding very attractive and very juicy immediately. So they'll usually give it to you with an open jowry already. Hence the flat bridge position, which I angled back a little bit, just angle it back. So they want you to be satisfied with the sitar, so they give you a sitar with an open jowry already. And then within 6 months of playing, it's so open it sounds just horrible. So what I always do with my own sitars and also for other people is just close it up, just angle it back, put a nice curve on the bridge and close it. Except for this, it's still not open enough, but that top one needs to be open. So I'll kind of work that a little bit to open it up. It's still not very open, but it's a little bit open. If this top chicory string, the very top one, is not open, then it really sounds dead. Otherwise, this is now very closed. But the principle is that it always opens up. So that means that this has got a long life left in it. And those people living in Europe who are not close to somebody who knows how to do jowry, in India, you can ride on the edge. You can have your jowry kind of open or whatever, and every month or so take it down to the local guy and have him do it. Right. Best is you just learn how to do it yourself. It's really not that difficult. But if you're in Europe or whatever and you don't know how to do it yourself, it's better that you have as closed jowry as possible, because then it'll last longer. And that what you can do is, for each of these little grooves on the bridge, you can just cut like 2 millimeters away, cut another one, cut another groove. So when that groove has, that line on the bridge is opened up too much, just lift it up and put it in the next groove, and then you've got a whole new fresh cleaned jowry. So let me just play this a little bit for you. And I hope you like the sound.